Hi everyone, welcome back to another brand new GitHub Actions video. In this video, I showed you how to do it using a terminal. But this is not really convenient, right? So whenever you make changes to your application code base right here, every time you do not want to run docker build command, right? Instead, we want to make the changes and going to be pushing our changes to GitHub repository. And this particular GitHub Actions workflow is going to be building the image automatically. So this is how actually real life project works. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do this. So this is the main branch. And here we did it basically GitHub Actions native way. So what I mean, basically we use this particular uses command, right? So what I want to do, I want to delete some of the steps from within this particular file, workflow file. So basically we are going to be following exactly the same steps that we have done manually. So this time this is going to be automated. So let's jump into this. So this is basically branched out from my main branch, and instead of main, I pasted basically the name of my current branch, okay? So we are going to be removing a couple of things. This is something if you want you can keep. If you want to remove it, you can actually remove it. For this video, I'm gonna remove it, okay? I don't want to keep it at this point. I want to make it a little bit, less verbose. So first of all, I want to remove this. Until here, I want to remove this. So what we are doing right here, it has the runner machine where this workflow will be running, and it requires this particular write permission because token needs to write the Docker image, right, to GitHub packages. So other way you can say GitHub container registry. So therefore we need the write permission. Of course you need read permission, right? And right here we want to write a couple more lines, and this is going to be Docker, let's say this is going to be build and push Docker image. So that's something I'm going to be calling it, and I'm going to use run command this time. And before I do this is something I want to show you, because in our previous video I actually showed it to you how to create a path token. So you need to click on your profile, from there to settings, and from there you need to click on developer settings. So in here you need to go to the personal access token. So I'm gonna create a token. So to create a token I need to click generate new, and then the classic one, not the beta one. So for this, it seems like I need to have the verification. I'm gonna name it to GitHub underscore token and gonna say like 7 days. And what I need basically is the write permission. So this is for the GitHub package registry. We call it GitHub container registry. It's the same thing. Any other permission you don't really need for this video. So this should be fine for us, and I'm gonna generate the token. If you refresh this page, this is gonna be going away, right? You're gonna lose it. So copy it and keep it somewhere else. But for this pipeline, you do not need to store it, because if you just use the particular variable, GitHub is going to be retrieving the secrets for you. So let me show you how to do it, and let's jump into the VS Code. So for now, we want to run multiple commands, and the commands are going to be, let me tab this, Docker. And we did basically Docker build command and login command, right? So you could actually write the login command in the first place. That's absolutely fine. So I could just basically Docker login -u, and I could just say wordable and then password. In this case, we want to use the path token. So for this, you can basically use this variable called secrets. Why does the pop-up not giving up any clue for me? Okay, GitHub, this is the one you need to actually use. ghcr.io, this is the registry address. If you wanted to use as an and, this is something also you could do. But for this video, I'm gonna basically skip it. We are fine, because in the other video I showed you. Okay, the next one I'm gonna write is called Docker build. And build command is going to be taken, and this is going to be ghcr.io/, I could hard code my username, or I could actually use this predefined variable. This predefined variable, you could actually use this GitHub owner. So this is something you could do like this. So dollar and then this, basically this would work. So I'm gonna hard code it. I just wanted to show you there are like predefined variable. so you could actually use them as well. This is a demo video, so I should be basically fine. So I'm gonna call it, let's say, Django. You can name anything you want, and the next thing you can do, you can just tag it by something. So I'm gonna call it, let's say, demo. This is for the YouTube, so just a demo video. And then next thing you want to do, you want to say where is your Docker file. So Docker file is going to be basically in this particular location, because this is the workflow, so it doesn't know how to reach out to your Docker file and the source code basically, right? So you have to specifically say where this Docker file is. So I'm gonna say Django /web, right? This is where my Docker file is basically located, and then I have to say Docker file. After that, the most interesting part is this one, because there is the context then you need to define. And if you define it wrong, you're gonna get an error. How? I'm going to be explaining it to you just in a second. So context is going to be this, meaning that the build process on the build machine, if it has to see your source code, it has to know where this source code is located. So particularly in our case, our project under Django /web, this is where it is. So let's say if I don't write this line, what is going to be happening? Let me show it to you in practice. What kind of error you're gonna see? So if I do this, let me go back, and if I say current directory, it's gonna throw up an error because it doesn't know. Look at this, it doesn't know where the Pipfile is, because it knows where the Docker file is, right? But basically here it doesn't know Pipfile, because this is a very common mistake people do, because Pipfile is not actually in the context, because context is basically the current directory at this point, because I said in this command, if you go back to this command, the context is basically current directory. It is not the case. But what happens if I just define what I have? Let me clear this up. If I define this, it's gonna build this image, because right now it knows where your source code is, right? So otherwise you're gonna get error messages. The next you want to do is basically Docker push, and this push is going to be happening to this location. Let me copy this right here. If everything actually works out well, then this should be actually working. So this is what exactly you need to build your changes and ship this into a Docker image, right? So if I'm doing this changes and making the changes to, let me go here and let's call it build and push Docker image. So git push. So if I go to the workflow, this is my branch, right? And here you can see already color. Let me take you to the home page. And if I go here and I click right here, you can see the build is automatically triggered. It's because we have mentioned in our pipeline, this has to be a push event on this particular branch. Okay, so then the automatic trigger is going to be performed. And here you can see everything seems pretty well. It's because I pushed this image some days before, therefore it says some of the stuff's already in there. So now it's doing the cleanup, the image is already pushed, and if I go right here in the packages section of my package, so if I go right here and I go to Django, this is where my demo Docker container image should reside, and you can see this was pushed just a minute ago. So if I now click here, you can see this is the one I just need to use, and if you're using a Docker file, you just say from this particular location. So you should be fine. If I now click here, let's see what happens. So it also says from this particular location, right? So if you're using this particular image for your Docker file, and if you're using a terminal, this is the command you should be running. And this is where you get the digest as well, right? You get the digest as well. And this is what I wanted to show you for today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and talk to you soon in the next video. Thank you everyone, and take care. Bye bye.